Welcome to the Parkinson's Research Guy, where we break down the latest research on Parkinson's disease into clear, useful takeaways. Whether you're living with Parkinson's or caring for someone who is, we'll help you turn science into steps that improve your quality of life. Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a study from Helgrid and colleagues. It's called Maximal Strength Training in Patients with Parkinson's Disease, and it's out of the Journal of Applied Physiology from 2020. So we have to tell everyone that we have a significant bias. We really like this article, and we like what it is trying to do for people. So the researchers themselves wanted to examine whether maximal strength training or lifting very heavy weights for low repetitions could improve strength, neural drive, which is the brain signaling to the muscles, and functional performance in people with Parkinson's disease. So what did they do? They did an 8-week intervention, and they had people perform exercises at 85 to 90% of their one repetition maximum. If you don't know what that means, it means that they were lifting very heavy weights, almost at the absolute maximum they could lift. And they did 3 sets of 4 repetitions. So if you exercise a lot, you know that that is not a lot of repetitions. And so this is because of the increased weight that they're using in this study. And they focus on lower body strength and particularly the leg press. And they did 2 to 3 sessions per week, and all of these sessions were supervised. All right, so what did they measure? They looked at muscle force or strength output. They looked at efferent neural drive, and this is just how well the brain activates the muscles. And then they looked at functional performance, and they looked at speed of movement and the power of movement during normal activities. Okay, so what did they find? They found that maximal strength training significantly increased neural drive. Participants improved the efficiency of brain-to-muscle communication, meaning that the nervous system became better at turning on the muscles. They found that leg strength improved substantially, which we would hope because they were doing leg strength activities. They found that their ability to produce force increased, which is highly relevant for walking, climbing stairs, preventing falls, getting out of chairs, getting up and down off the toilet, and so many other things in life. They found that functional mobility also improved. Movements became faster and more powerful, which are all very important for your normal daily function and staying independent. All right, so why does this matter? Why should you care? Why should you probably read the study yourself as well? And also, why should you bring this to your physical therapist and see if this is the right thing for you? So what they found was that strength training doesn't just make muscles stronger in people with Parkinson's disease. It improves neurological function. It improves your independence and improves your overall ability to move in your world. Pretty cool. Great study. So then the next question is, okay, if maximal strength training is good for me, which again, you should definitely sit down and talk to your physical therapist and your physician about this to make sure this is ideal for you and your situation. So what are some kind of generic guidelines for lifting heavy? So heavy strength training, one, if you've never done it before, should be done supervised. And we recommend everyone listening to this and reading the study do this supervised to start with a physical therapist. But research shows that maximal strength training, which means heavy weights and low reps, does help improve the brain-muscle communication and strength. Your target should be about 2 to 3 days a week, and there are 3 sets of 4 repetitions at about 85 to 90% of your max effort. And in this study, they use those parameters and they focused on leg and hip strength. The other thing that they did and that they recommend in the study is that you prioritize the quality of movement over the quantity. Slow intentional lifting with full rest between sets gives the nervous system time to learn the new motor patterns. So they recommended to rest 2 to 3 minutes in between sets and think lift powerfully, then rest fully. And then they also recommended, as we strongly do, that you work with a trained professional when going heavy. Because maximal strength training uses super heavy weight, supervision by a physical therapist is highly recommended to maintain proper form, safety, and appropriate progression of the weights and the type of exercise that you're doing. So after all of this, what's our bottom line? The bottom line is that maximal strength training improves not just muscle force and strength, but it improves neural drive, movement power, and improves daily function and independence in people with Parkinson's disease. And that's why you should care. The picture here on the slide also includes the name of the study, where it was found, and the authors. We strongly recommend you take this to your physical therapist and see if this is appropriate training for you. Good luck, and let us know what you think.
Now, as with any other exercise, we recommend strongly that you check in with your physician and your physical therapist to make sure that this is the right type of exercise for you and that it's appropriate for you to do in your current program. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Parkinson's Research Guide. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to help us continue creating great content.